Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Talking about a guy that's a mythical figure in Western Canada, and on his way to that status is Cale Makar. Tell us something about Cale Makar. He is like the face of the Alberta Junior Hockey League now, and the Brooks Bandits, and Calgary too. He's our Cale. What do you love about this guy, besides the obvious?
You know, I love his attitude, honestly, Rod. When he first came in, I mean, when he came out of college into that first game against the Flames, you remember back in the postseason, he was a pro then. He behaved like a pro. He took everything incredibly seriously. You know, his mental makeup, his calmness, and his vision and his focus, to me, is just incredible for a young man who's only 23 years old. So I think he was mature beyond his years when he came into the NHL. And then watching his game grow, we know the skating, we know the puck handling, we know the shots, we know everything else. I didn't realize when he first came in, Rod, what a good hitter he is. When he wants to put his shoulder right in your chest and knock you flat on your back, he's able to do that. I guess I didn't know how good defensively he was. It was on display. This is years ago, but it's on display, his growth even. In the poke check of McDavid in the Edmonton series, where he picks up McDavid at full speed, but he's going backwards through the neutral zone, you know, turns around in his own end with the poke check. He's just an all-around superstar defenseman at this point.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
So linebacker Simone Lawrence was among 3 players fined for a high hit on Saskatchewan quarterback Cody Fajardo. I don't think there's anybody on God's green earth that didn't think he was going to get fined. Dave Naylor, he tweeted that Simone had been fined, and Simone replied and said, "Oh, news to me. How much is it?" Should they notify the players before they send out the news release?
Maybe Simone's having fun with it. Maybe he's not. I'm not sure, but he'll pay the ticket.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey now! Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It is a Football Friday. I'm putting a disclaimer up right now. I feel like everybody's heads are elsewhere today. We're going to have a fantastic show, believe me. But we all got a lot of stuff going on. I haven't even seen the whites of Moose's eyes just yet. Is he around? As I broadcast our last show from South Florida for a while, we go to the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, which also is the heartbeat of the Canadian Football League. Saskatchewan. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing great, but I'm with you too. Like, you know, we jump in here 5 minutes. Neither of us are on our chairs, but we're here now. We're gonna have a great show.
Yeah, and the crew. I'm like, testing. Is this thing on? Testing. Is this thing on? No. But the thing is, you see, I got my Rattlers gear on today. This is a league that knows how to promote. The CEBL and the Rattlers sent me some gear. It made it all the way down here to South Florida, and I thought I would wear it today on a game day for the CEBL Saskatchewan Rattlers. They're home to the Evidence Stingers, and I also bring that up because some of the guys on our crew are going to be working that game tonight on the television crew there, or whatever it is, game production TV. I don't know. We've never really talked about it, but I'm getting packed up and heading to Orlando this afternoon, Moose, just so you know, and then flying back to Canada this weekend. So, yeah, it's Friday. We got a lot of football to talk about, and we've got Jeff Reinebold coming up, the loquacious CFL legend. He's worked for almost every CFL team. He's from Fox Sports NFL, Sky Sports NFL out of Europe. Jeff Reinebold's going to be joining us from Hawaii to talk about Week 2 in the CFL. Mike Hogan, the voice of the Argos. Might be a frenemy. I'm not sure. Well, Hoagie be in a good mood today because they won, but he always lights me up when I talk about fan attendance in Toronto and moving the team to Moncton. So we'll see what Hoagie's got. And I also got to say one more thing before we get into the real fun thing. And by the way, my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat is logged in. She's on the mend, and everybody's asking how she's doing. Chris, awesome. See you soon, and be strong. You're tough. You're tough. You're a Pedersen. You know that. So continue to be tough. We're very proud of you, and we love you. And speaking of the love, this morning in the gym, I just got to say this. I said to you on the phone, you got it. Wait till you meet Brian Dodge, man, the mayor of Dodge City. I worked out with him this morning. And Chris, He's a Northeastern guy. I want to say a Boston guy. And they stopped me in the lobby of the gym. And Chris is like, I love the CFL talk, man. I love it. I was following it 40 years ago when ESPN used to carry it. But when you talk the junior hockey, you kind of lose me. And I said, well, okay, maybe we'll back off on the junior hockey talk. And Brian's like, no! You got to keep up with the junior hockey. It's just getting good. So I just feel like today we are the golden corral again of sports talk. A little bit of everything. It's a buffet, and just fill your plate with whatever you'd like. Okay? And let's start. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Please, and thank you. I have a sense that today's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. It already is. But we're not on Game Plus TV today. We're preempted because of Blast Premiere. So tell your friends, start spreading the news. The RP show is only on YouTube Live today. So let's get some likes. Let's get those subscribers up. Subscribe if you haven't, and tell all your friends it's the best daytime sports and entertainment talk show on the continent. We all know that, but everybody needs to know that. So McLeod Bethel Thompson last night in the CFL hit newcomer Brandon Banks with a second-half touchdown strike as the Toronto Argonauts held on for a season-opening 2019 victory over the Alouettes at BMO Field. But who cares about the touchdown? That's not the play of the game. Montreal had the chance to win the game, but David Cote, their kicker, missed a 21-yard field goal with 11 seconds to go. It went for a single, but it wasn't enough. They lost the game. Had he made the field goal, Montreal wins. It tarnished a stellar 10-play, 63-yard drive by our guy, quarterback Trevor Harris of Montreal, that included a 25-yard completion to Eugene Lewis on a 3rd and 10 gamble. And the other funny offshoot of that story of the game, Moose, was Gary Stern, the Alouettes owner, who earlier this week predicted his team would kill Toronto. Where's the cancel culture on that? He watched the game from field level near the Alouettes bench. So the game had a little bit of everything. I watched it on the Deuce last night, had my text string going with my CFL guys down here. It's a great game last night, and kudos to the Argos. But the Owls beat the spread, which I think you called.
That's right. And I thought, I was going to win the money line too, and that they were going to get the field goal and just win the game. But off to a pretty good start there. You know what? I'm pretty high on the Owls this year. This wasn't a Picasso by either team by any stretch, but it was a good game, entertaining. Came down to the last play of the game, and that's what you want, right? You want it to come down to the end.
The viewers are awake and they're chiming in, and Nicholas writes in the chat. He says, the Memorial Cup is coming up. Get real. Don't like junior hockey? That's a you problem. I'm sure Chris from the Boston area would agree. It's just not his thing, but it's our thing, and they watch anyways because the Memmer's coming up in St. John. But for today, it's a Football Friday, and we're going to stay on that vein. And as the viewers are going up, keep them going up, everybody. Tell your friends we're live, and it's a Football Friday. Tweet it. Facebook it. RP and Moose and the gang are talking CFL football. Let's go. Join in. So our poll question today, and I'll give kudos to producer Clark. It was his idea in our morning meeting today. What's the top CFL storyline in week 2? And we had to kick it around a little bit to come up with the storylines, but we've found them. Here are your options. Gary Stern's guarantee. The owner of the Alouettes, he said they were going to kill the Argonauts. Can you say that? Well, he did. That's one option. 2, the Hall of Fame game. Calgary Stampeders at Hamilton Tiger Cats on Saturday. I almost said Ivor Wynne Stadium. Tim Hortons Field in Hamilton, which is the home of the shrine of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame game Saturday. Stamps at Ticats. Or Jones versus Fajardo. Or other. And I had to vote for the Edmonton-Saskatchewan game. I got a Moose. I'm excited that I'll be in Alberta in time to watch the game. But that's just me. Who are you voting for the biggest storyline in the CFL this week?
Yeah, that'll be everybody's biggest game, I think, just based on the off-season drama. So I'm with you. That's easily the biggest one heading into the weekend.
Well, we shouldn't speak for everybody. That's why we have a vote. It is a democracy. Last I checked, Moose, we can't speak for everybody.
I know. So wait, we'll speak for about 70 to 75% of the people. That's my prediction.
Is that your guess? Okay. You're so good at the odds and the betting. I suck. I invite the viewers to chat amongst themselves in the chat. I can't bring up every question, obviously, but Paul Jefferson's watching and on YouTube. I guess that's our only option today. He says, I enjoyed the Argos versus Alouettes game last night. Lots of twists and turns, great plays and misses. It was entertaining. It was a yard sale, and it wasn't state fair football. It was pro football. It was slow going. Anybody would, at the start, it was slow starting. But you had guys stepping on each other. You had ejections. It looked like a beautiful, beautiful night at BMO Field. And I'm watching that going, how come the CFL games look so Canadian? The NFL games don't look like this. And I'm not saying the NFL looks better. It just looks different. And I realize why. In Canada, we have those open end zones whereby the sun comes in and every football stadium runs north and south. So you have that, natural lighting. The NFL stadiums are so enclosed and huge, you don't get sunlight in there. And when you do, it's all shadows. It sucks. But you had the Argos banner in the end zone and the wind blowing them and the retired numbers. It was a great night for the CFL. Again, week 2 got off to a great start.
Yeah, it really did. And that's cool. It's that feeling, right, of, Canada, right, in those open stadiums. And no, I'm with you, man. It's a cool feeling, and last night looked really neat.
Let's get it going. Everybody, tell us what you enjoyed about last night's game. The one thing is, full disclosure, I was in bed before the final minute of the game, so I got up this morning and looked, and I'm like, you missed a field goal from 21 yards? How do you miss a field goal from 21 yards? And all Twitter had was the clip. There was no analysis, what I saw from TSN's feed. And I'll get to you guys' comments. Hang on. What are they saying about the miss? All I saw from Kahari Jones, which, by the way, can we get the coach of Montreal a shirt that fits? Like, I took 2 tickets to the gun show, man. Like,
How about that?
Can we get the Kahari a shirt that fits? Clearly, his muscles are extra large, and he was wearing a medium. Shout out Kahari. But all he talked about was that he wanted to get a look at, well, I think he said both of his quarterbacks. He played Trevor Harris, and incidentally, Vernon Adams is our guy, too. He loves us. We love him. And Dominic Davis was on the field in short yardage, too. So he was, I wanted to get a look at all my quarterbacks. But I didn't see him say anything about the field goal. So what's your analysis on the missed field goal?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it comes down to just you got to make it. It made several others before that, and it's I know the pressure goes up when the game's on the line like that, but sometimes you just miss, plain and simple. Sometimes you just miss, and that's unfortunate.
Oh, isn't that easy and cavalier of you to say? How would you like to be the head coach of the football team who looked very upset, obviously, at the loss? Montreal's now 0-2. They've lost those 2 games by a combined 4 points. And Kahari Jones' job will be probably, biggest job right now is keeping the spirits up of his football team. You're obviously, I don't think, cutting your kicker after missing a game-winning field goal, although in the NFL they probably would. I considered this being the poll question today. Do you cut the kicker for missing a 21-yarder? Chris Jones probably would, but I don't think you do you?
Well, you can consider it because, you can kick as many field goals as you want during the game. If you don't kick the one to win it, what's the point of having you on the team? Now, that's pretty harsh and cut and dry. I don't think you do. I really don't. But if it becomes a trend, if it happens again, you're going to really think about it. So, no, I don't think after one game you're going to do that.
Jack in Alberta, going to be fan-damn-tastic to see you boys back in Cowtown. I can't wait to get back, Jack. Thank you. Thank you for keeping an eye on it for us since we've been away. Mike Hogan, watching in Toronto, says, hey, RP show and fabulous viewers. Argos. Mike goes on to say, I always enjoy an Argos victory, but relieved to see the Celtics lose Game 6 too. Okay, he's the one that wanted us to change topics, so we will. We move on to point 2 on this Football Friday. The World Cup is coming to Toronto and Vancouver, but not Edmonton. These cities were named as 2 of 16 host cities for the upcoming North American-based World Men's Soccer Tournament. 11 cities in the USA and 3 in Mexico are part of the final list. Man, did social media pop off last night when that announcement was made, or late Thursday afternoon. That's pretty awesome, man. Toronto and Vancouver going to host World Cup games. It's not like we didn't know they were world-class cities, but there's nothing saying they were slam dunks to get it. So that was very, very big news, maybe even bigger than the CFL news on Thursday.
It was massive. It was really great and really excited for it. I know, going to try and make sure that we're there and, I've been at the Women's World Cup when it was at Edmonton, and it's awesome. And I know there was criteria that it needed to be at minimum a 40,000 seat venue. So that right there limits your options. But no, those are two premier cities in our country, and we'll be proud when it's here.
Arlen Bruce is up and at him, and AB3 writes in, a Canadian Football Hall of Famer in waiting, says, do you think all CFL teams should have the end zones painted to bring more color to the viewers? Something needs to go in all end zones. Maybe your logos, Rod and DuPont. My kite, I'm okay with the end zones the way that they are, but that's just me. I am not an old, well, I am old, but I'm not stuck in my own ways that I wouldn't consider painting the end zones for aesthetic pleasure. What do you think? I would vote no in terms of that, but how about you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be into it. I think each team should do their own thing, right? If that's your thing, I think it totally adds to the atmosphere of the venue, makes it look cool. But sometimes it being fairly simple and plain is kind of cool, too. So I would leave it up to each team.
It is a Football Friday. Jeff Reinebold coming up, and frankly, I want to get his breakdown of the missed 21-yard field goal by the Alouettes, David Cote, at the end of the game. It cost Montreal their first win, gave the Argos their first win. Jeff Reinebold coming up in hour one, and the voice of the Toronto Argonauts from TSN 1050, Mike Hogan, in hour two. We're running out of time here in this segment, but I'll tell you our NHL and Stanley Cup coverage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. To schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services, call 306-781-2090 or visit us at broncoplumbing.com. I see it's going to get into the high 20s this weekend in the sweatpants capital, so give your air conditioning a charge. Schedule some maintenance at Bronco Plumbing. My guy, Brian, the mayor of Dodge City, has no clue about the Celsius scale. Zippo. So I had to switch my phone this morning over to Fahrenheit. I leave it on Celsius. I told the Americans I'm never, ever, 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 ever switching to Fahrenheit. The rest of the world is Celsius. You guys need to get with it. But I said, for you, Brian, because we're so tight, I'll look at what the temperature is here right now in Calgary. It was 55 Fahrenheit. He was like, ooh. Yeah. So it's like 97 here right now, Moose, with humidity. 97.
It's
mid-30s.
insane. I know tomorrow here is supposed to get to 34, 35. So,
woo, nice.
Hot.
A hockey note before we break. The Philadelphia Flyers have officially named John Tortorella as their new head coach. Torts was fired in May after 6 seasons with Columbus. He led Tampa to a Stanley Cup in 2004. Also coached the Rangers and Canucks. Barry Trotz allegedly turned down an offer from the Flyers, $7 million per year. Our guy, Alan May, I don't mind saying, Mayday sent me a text this morning and said, what do you know about this Trotzy turning down the $7 million in Winnipeg? I will tell you and the viewers what I told Maisie when we come back. But as I say, it's a Football Friday, so lots of ball for all. We'll return in a moment. You're watching on YouTube Live today and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Number 16. A legend throws 713 yards in a single
pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're getting the weather report. Jennifer from the Four Seasons writes in. She says 34 degrees this weekend, Roddy, but possible thunderstorms. Oh, very similar to what it is here in South Florida then. How about that? Minus the humidity. Randy from Winnipeg writes in on the 902 line, text line. He says, off to the golf course. Have a great weekend, everyone, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. P.S. My son is getting me pizza, and we're watching Batman. Too hot to go out. 37 degrees Celsius. Haha. That from Randy in the Peg. And Nelson Hakowich, our VP of Sim Events, writes in. He says, Gary Stern is putting his neck out there, and I'm here for it. That's the owner of the Alouettes. And just for spits and giggles, I went in to check the Twitter results. Before we bring the Moose in, the poll for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is, which is the biggest storyline in CFL Week 2? Gary Stern's guarantee, the owner of the Alouettes, saying they were going to kill the Argos. The Hall of Fame game Saturday. Jones versus Fajardo or other. 65% voting for the Edmonton Sask game. Chris Jones versus Cody Fajardo. My two dudes. Gary Stern's guarantee is next at 19%. Hall of Fame game, 8%. Other, 8%. And we're going to have to get into why it's so low. I have no idea why. The Hall of Fame game should have far bigger profile than it is. May rattle off the rest of the quick six, then we'll bring Darren back in. The Golden State Warriors are NBA champions once again, topping the Boston Celtics 103-90 for their fourth title in the last 8 seasons. Steph Curry scored 34 for the Warriors. Point 5, Cedric Mullins had 3 hits, and Baltimore pounded former Orioles pitcher Kevin Gausman. Austin Hayes hit his 9th home run as Toronto fell to Baltimore 10-2. Gosman lasted 2 1/3 innings as Baltimore scored 6 times in the third en route to a blowout win at Rogers Center. By the way, our junior hockey coverage on the RP Show brought to you by Cavendish Farms, proud supporters of junior hockey in Canada. And Adam Hadwin of Abbotsford, BC. Hey, how about that?
How about that?
The Memmer, starting next week in Hamilton. Sorry, Hamilton will be there. It's in St. John. I can't wait. Moose, you and I'll probably watch every game. And Adam Hadwin of Abbotsford, BC is the leader after one round of the U.S. Open. Round 2 is already well underway, but Hadwin ran off 3 straight birdies at the end of the front 9 and only dropped 1 shot on the back 9 of the country club for 66. He led after day 1 by 1 shot over 5 players, including Rory McIlroy. So, Moose, here we go. The golf talk, because clearly my circle of people is changing, and I feel like I'm hearing way more about the golf talk with the Phil stuff and everything than I used to. But maybe it's just me. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe my group is skewed. Maybe I'm making a bigger deal of it than it is. What about your group of people?
Everybody's talking about it, it seems like, for the most part. And even the major media outlets are focused on it. They talk about the U.S. Open and who's winning. But Adam Hadwin's not getting that much pub. He's leading after round 1 of the Open. But everybody wants to know, how are the live golf players doing? How's Dustin doing? Oh, my gosh, Phil Mickelson blew up in round 1 and was 5 over. And, that's what they want to focus on. And it's a cultural kind of human behavior lesson, right? I think at scale, we're waiting to jump on and laugh at the live golf players when they don't play well, right? We want them to fail because they left us. They left the PGA. But, some of them are going to do okay, and eventually we'll get past that. But, it's a big storyline, and everybody wants to know how they're going to compare to the rest of the field.
Well, it's an interesting time in society. I saw Brooks Koepka at the podium the other day. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, the news conference, and the live thing came up, and he's like, stop asking about it. But it's like,
yeah,
you literally cannot control other people. Newsflash. You cannot. So you need to learn to live with these things. And that is the fixation, the live golf thing. And yeah, listen, you think I didn't see that Phil at one time was 7 over or 9 over yesterday? I saw it. Sitting in Rocco's Tacos. It was on the television. But again, people are never, ever going to get it. Whether it's Phil, you see he's got no sponsors on his shirt because he lost all his sponsors. Like, what the hell do you expect these people to do? And then you look at Terry Jones. Terry Jones getting whatever you want to say. Fired. How about that? Terry Jones, 50-plus years at the Evidence, fired over a phone call from some guy probably a third his age. And you're going to start to realize people, like, what? Maybe once, I think that people that are doing all the criticizing have not been through the ringer like some of us have, where it's like, looking out for number one is the way it's going to be. And until you see the perspective as to why, you're never going to get it. So I guess if they're going to cheer against those guys, it's sad, but that's the way that it is. And by the way, that came up this morning at coffee. Amanda Ruler joining the Seattle Seahawks. Do you know how much crap's been talked about her by people but they're just jealous of her? And that's why I'm just going, you go, girl, because she has been through so much that people don't even know about. I think they think she's had an easy ride.
Yeah.
She's worked her ass off to get the opportunities that she's had. And people don't, I've seen it firsthand. You've seen it even more. So, I mean, she's only got the job because she's a woman. And that's her fault. How? People say that about Henry Burris. I've seen it. People say, Henry Burris only got hired in Chicago because he's black. That's the whole idea of the diversity program, but because Hank killed it, he ends up getting hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the whole idea of what they're doing here, is it not, Darren?
Yeah, give people an opportunity, and when they crush it and have success, they get another opportunity and another one. That's how life works, and now we're trying to make sure that those opportunities are available for everybody. So this is the signs of the programs are working.
Yeah, so back to sports. Believe me, I could go all over and all day on the state of things, but I won't. I want to get back to. I got so much water jugs going here. I don't know where to start. I guess, and because it's a Friday and our minds aren't elsewhere, but they're not totally focused on the thing. So if you want to catch us in a squirrel moment today, viewers, today would be the day. If you want to, whatever you want to talk about, let us know. We're kind of past the Gary Stern thing. I see everybody wants to talk about the owner of the Alouettes, and I get it. He says they're going to kill Toronto, and the Alouettes go into Toronto, and they don't kill them. As a matter of fact, they lose. All I can say about this is Gary Stern trying, and God bless him for it, but owners should be not seen and not heard. Just please zip it and either cash the checks or write the checks. Leave the talking to us. Because then you end up with it blowing up in your face like this did. Don't you think?
Yeah. On the other side, I wish we had heard it sooner. I wish I had heard that, on Monday, and we could have talked about it all week.
I think that's on us. I think he said it Monday. I think Monday or Tuesday at the latest.
He might have for sure, but the bigger it can get, then it can be something for sure, and can dominate the headlines for a while and be bulletin board material and get some bad blood moving throughout the league. Like, that's okay. But yeah, like, you're right, can absolutely blow up in your face, and he has to be aware that he can, and now he's got to answer for it, right? And his team has to, he has to look his team in the eyes and say, look, you guys were right down there at the end. You didn't kill him, but you were right there. Probably should have won. So, I think he's still pretty confident in the group he's got, but yeah, it's how it goes.
Oh, guaranteed he is. Again, I'm just giving my opinion. I don't think owners should be making guarantees for the biggest reason that they're not out on the field putting their ass on the line.
Yeah.
He's writing checks that it's not his mouth that needs to cash, it's his player. And maybe when I say owners shouldn't be seen nor heard, no, they should be seen in a luxury suite, but never heard. Never. And again, I continue to go back to Winning Time, the documentary on HBO Max on the Lakers. Jerry Buss, thank God they didn't interview this guy. Can you imagine what he would have said? But if you ever want to know why owners get the trophy at the end of in the end, it's the NBA, right? They give the owners to the trophy to the owner of the team. I think it's the only, maybe the NFL, I think they do too. And people get so worked up about that. And I'm like, no. If you don't think the owners should get the trophy, then you don't understand how things work. Because those are the guys that literally put their balls on the table in today's society now. Put their butts on the table. I have no problem with the owners getting the trophy because if you win, you've risked everything to put yourself in that position. So anyways, that's my take. Yours?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. They do. They take on the risk and really build the organization up, and that's the reward, right? But I see it again as I do from all angles. But I don't have a problem with the owners getting the trophy at all.
Robin Wildy and PA. Squirrel with a little squirrel emoji. Can you put that up on the screen, boys? Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, is there an organization that owns its success to fluke and the ridiculous more than the Toronto Argonauts? I don't have a problem with it because I love Ryan Dinwiddie so much. I love me some Ryan Dinwiddie. That guy's got fire, dude, in his belly. And you can say it's a fluke. I'm not even going to argue that it's a fluke. But as they say, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Nelson goes on to say this is CFL owners stepping out into the light a bit to have a personality and show they care. Victor, Amar, Gary. We're on first name basis now. And Larry have brought some freshness and spice to the CFL. Is that Larry Tannenbaum? Listen, sure, they should be more visible. But I don't think they should be making comments like, we're going to kill the other team this week. That's where I think he stepped in the manure. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I like them being visible and being, outspoken and stuff. But yeah, guaranteeing wins, You're never going to put on the pads. You're not on the sidelines, right? Coaches and players doing it, that's a little bit of a different story. So, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Oh, dang it. We're gonna roll out, and we'll bring you back. We'll continue this next hour. Nick, the VIP, writes in and says, the biggest headline in the CFL, no BC Lions game this week. Boo. Yeah, well, if there was 10 teams, we wouldn't have these buys like this. We wouldn't have this problem. So I'll say this facetiously, somewhat in tongue-in-cheek. Hey, owners, stop flapping your jaws in the media and figure out how to get Halifax settled, okay? Okay. Then do as many interviews as you want. Moose, we'll see you in hour 2.
You bet. See you then.
The great Jeff Reinebold coming up next to break down week 2 in the Canadian Football League, because it is a Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech is your industry leader in combustion services. We'll be right back on YouTube Live today. And, of course, you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It's a Flame Tech Football Friday, and as the man tweeted last night, another CFL game comes down to the final 2 minutes. In the case of the Argos and Owls, it came down to the final 11 seconds. The Alouettes' David Cote missed a 21-yard field goal with 11 seconds to go. It went for a rouge, but it wasn't enough. Toronto beats Montreal 2019 to open their season for the Argos. Montreal falls to 0-2. Jeff Reinebold, the coach, Coffee with the Coach, joins us today where it's early out there in Hawaii. I appreciate you getting up, Coach. And let's jump right into it, man, if you don't mind. What happened on that field goal at the end of the game last night?
He just choked it. And, you play golf, Rod. You know what it's like. It was a tap in, and he didn't get it in. You look at the kicking in around the league, and it was problematic last year for a lot of clubs, and it's, same thing. Toronto was 3 for 5. Hamilton doinked one off the post when they were in Saskatchewan last week. The kicking's got to improve. When you look at a guy like Brett Lowther, you understand why they went out and re-signed him to a contract, big contract for a kicker this past offseason. Dickey understands the importance of the kicking game, and especially when you're out on the prairies, you better have a guy that can get it through the pipes.
Well, if I may, you built your name on special teams, and what I felt last night when watching that game was you don't respect the kicker enough until you don't have one or until he misses a field goal. Is it disrespected in the CFL or maybe even pro football, the position?
Well, when they narrowed the hashes, you thought that the field goal kicking was going to improve because now basically you're like the NFL. You're right in front of the pipes the whole way, and we do have the wider pipes. It's just right now that there is inconsistency. You've got new holders, new snappers in some cases. Cote's going to be okay, but and he's going to win some games down the stretch for the Owls. But this was a big one because they needed to even it up and get to 1-1. And for Toronto, it was a huge home win.
Interestingly, by the way, you mentioned the narrower hash marks. I went in and looked at the field goal percentages last week. It was 23 of 25 combined in the CFL. Seemed almost negligible to me. Hamilton's guy missed one, and I can't remember the other. Are we going to see a difference in that stat as the season goes along, do you think?
Well, you should, and then the reason for narrowing the hashes was to create more offense and, take away that wide field out that nobody can throw and make the will linebacker, be more of an athlete trying to help the offenses. But it should also help the kicking game because those field goal kickers now don't have the drastic angle that they had previously when the hashes were wider. I hope it improves the kicking in the league because, for example, Hamilton last year, doggone it, if we don't win a Grey Cup, I think, if we have better field goal kicking, and their punting has improved. They went out and got an American punter. People are understanding the fact that you have got to be able to punt and kick the ball effectively in this league if you're going to have long-term success. You worry about Winnipeg that way. You worry about Hamilton that way. I think you look at Lowther, and he's the one guy that you can say, if I had one kick to make, I'm going to send him out there, and I think he's going to hammer it through.
Oh, man, we can spend the whole segment on this. I just want to throw in some comments here from the viewers. Kent Ridley's watching in Nashville. Hey, Coach, hope you're doing great. Ryan in Saratoga, New York. Aloha, Coach. Reinebold, good to see you on TV again. There's all kinds of comments from the viewers here. They love you, Coach, as you know. Cortez told me last time we talked, about a month ago, he's in Houston, as you know. He said when they narrowed the hash in the NFL in the 70s, rushing stats went way up. I don't think higher than passing attempts, but do you expect how will this affect the offenses?
Well, again, the reason the rushing stats went up is, you couldn't use the sideline as an extra defender into the boundary. So the same thing's going to happen, I think, in the CFL. The offensive coaches, because again, we have not had long preseason. We don't have 4 preseason games like they had in the NFL at that time. We don't have training camp that starts 2 months before the first regular season game. I think the coaches are still working it out themselves about how can I take advantage of the fact that I've got more field to the weak side to work and open up not only the passing game, but the running game. I think, you look at the teams around the league, and right now, if I had a critique to give Saskatchewan, it's they've got to find a running game. Last week, their 2 running backs averaged less than 3 yards a carry. The same thing's true for Hamilton. you got to take some of the pressure off of your offensive linemen, and you got to run the football.
You mentioned the scoring being up. I think I read in the game notes it's up 33% week one, year over year. So if that's what they were hoping to accomplish, temporarily it seems like they did. Ottawa, Winnipeg tonight. They're excited in Ottawa. They felt they took a major step forward last week, but they still lost, as you know. Another last-minute loss there. What are you seeing out of the Red Black?
Well, I see Mazzoli has made a huge impact. They were abysmal throwing the football last year, Rod. They couldn't throw the ball at all. He gives them a chance. You know, if Ackland doesn't drop that long touchdown pass, he has probably close to 400 yards of throwing against, the Grey Cup champions at their place in the first game. So they're more dynamic offensively. I think Ackland, he'll catch that ball 9 out of 10 times. He's going to be their wide receiver one. Mazzoli, his mobility in the pocket. When you watched, they had a free runner. Winnipeg on Shaq Johnson's touchdown. Winnipeg has a free runner off the edge, and Jeremiah shakes him and steps up in the pocket and delivers the ball in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. That throw was why you went out and got Jeremiah Mazzoli. So he's going to be, I think, the X factor. Again, that's a team that's gone, and Sean Burke has done an outstanding job of improving the roster because they were not a good football team last year. They've got good football players in Ottawa now, and I think tonight is going to be a great game to watch on TV because that Ottawa crowd makes it a tough place to play.
Yeah, and I think it is going to be sold out. And by the way, I don't know where you are on betting, but Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner, CFLs as well, has Bombers favored by 2.5 going in there. How do you and by the way, the Alouettes covered last night because the Argos were favored by 3.5. So Al's at least, they beat the spread. How do you feel about Winnipeg favored by 2.5 tonight?
Well, I think Winnipeg, when you look at them, they feel coming out of the Ottawa game that they got away with one because they didn't play very well. And, they weren't very dynamic on offense. Where I look at them and I'm concerned about them, Rod, is who are their playmakers offensively, right? I mean, who do you have that can make that big play, make that big run? Their running game was ineffective. They really saw, just how much they relied on, Harris last year. And then outside at wide receiver, Ellingson's a great receiver, and he's played extremely well through the league, but he's not a guy that's going to catch a 5-yard hitch and turn it into an 80-yard touchdown. So they've got to find some dynamic players on offense. And then I think defensively they'll settle in. They made too many mistakes in the secondary. They were looking in the backfield, got beat on double moves. Dubois, who's really a tight end, not a wide receiver, runs right past Rose on a play action pass. They just didn't play very well in the secondary. I think they'll get that cleaned up. But again, Winnipeg to me is a team that needs to run the football. Those big offensive linemen that they have, and Collaros is best when he has play action and can move the pocket. So as that football team, that again this week, they've got to show that they can run the football, whether it's Johnny Augustine or who it is in the backfield. They've got to find a running game.
From the viewers, John Ohm watching in Winnipeg says, great to see Jeff. No fear, Reinebold. From Clay in Brandon, Reinebold is a great pick for a regular CFL guest. He's amazing. Absolutely. And we're looking for a partner to bring you Jeff Reinebold every week. Coach, we haven't even talked about Saturday's game, so would you mind sitting tight for a second? We'll come back and talk about the doubleheader on Saturday. All right. Coach Reinebold joining us from Hawaii. It is a Flame Tech Football Friday, and we will be right back to South Florida after this timeout. And get your questions ready, because you know he loves to answer those. It's the RP Show. Today, streaming on YouTube Live only, and also 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse is a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Last day in South Florida with the RP Show. We'll be back, but heading to sunny and beautiful Alberta tomorrow for the summertime of the RP Show live from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino and other wonderful locales. Tune in Monday and learn more. But we've got the coach with us, Coach Reinebold, CFL treasure, football treasure, joining us from Hawaii. And Coach, if you don't mind, we'll jump into that Calgary-Hamilton game, the first of a doubleheader on Saturday at Tim Hortons Field, the Hall of Fame game. It's not going over well in Hamilton. The Ticats are 0-1. Are the fans have reason to be as upset as they are with the Week 1 showing?
Well, there are big expectations in the Hammer because, they return an awful lot of players off a team that, probably should have won the Grey Cup last year. And, when you look at the expectations, you say offensively, first of all, you got to be able to protect the quarterback. And I feel sorry for Mike Gibson. Mike Gibson's a hell of an offensive line coach. And right now, he's got a chewed up bunch of guys. They've lost player after player through the preseason. They may have to start 2 Americans on the offensive line this week, just to fill the holes. And that's going to impact the ratio. They lost an awful lot of good football players. We watched Brandon Banks last night score a touchdown in his first game with the Argos. We see Jalen Ackland doing his thing in Ottawa. Those are guys, they're tough to replace. And they've got good young players, but those good young players have got to now actualize on game day. And, Dane absolutely had no chance. I mean, no chance in the Saskatchewan game. 8 sacks, Rod, 8, and it could have been 10. And, other than a blown coverage, they don't score a touchdown against Saskatchewan. Now, Saskatchewan's got a good defense, but you got to be able to do better than that if you expect you're going to the Grey Cup. This is a big, big week for them, and it's a good Calgary defense they're going to face at home.
So about those Stampeders, Bo nicked up last week, but I guess he's going to start. There's a lot of criticism of Bo, and I don't know how much film you watch on him because you're a special teams guy, but is he slowing down? They're trying to purport a narrative that he is.
Well, I'm a junkie, Rod, so I'm going to watch I'd watch tape on a midget league game. That's the way I am. But I've known Bo since we recruited him at the University of Hawaii. He was committed to come to the University of Hawaii with us, and then we went to SMU, and he came to SMU and was there for the first 2 years of his career. I know the kid very well. The injuries have started to take a little bit of a toll, right? You watch him in the pocket now. He's a different guy. He's matured. Those guys that get hit, they understand. It's about being able to play through a whole season. The good thing, if you're Calgary, is you got a guy waiting in the wings, and Mayer, that went into that game last week and did a great job. And so I'm sure Dave feels real good about his quarterback situation. Again, looking at them, you want to have a playmaker outside. I like their running game. I like, again, I think their back is one of the better backs, Kadeem Carey, in the league. That young receiving corps, Sindani's starting to play at a high level. They've got to find a couple other weapons. When they do that, they'll be real good. Calgary knows how to win. They're going to play solid defense. They're very good in the kicking game. They don't beat themselves. So I think this is going to be a really, really close game in Hamilton. Hamilton obviously have to beat at home, and they need to get this win. It's crazy to say that, 2 weeks into the season, but nobody wants to start 0-2.
No, and Ticats favored by 1 for the bettors out there by Bet Regal. They're telling me 90 seconds. We're leaving best for last. Sask at Edmonton, Jones versus Fajardo. What has you excited about this game?
You know what? I'm disappointed with Chris because he backed off his statement about Fajardo's throwing ability and, tried to, after you give up 60, I think you do some of those things a little bit. You look at this one and you just see two teams headed in absolutely different directions. You got to give Saskatchewan a lot of credit because they build a good roster. That is a good football they have. They got, Larry Dean back off that Achilles tendon. They're dominant up front on defense. They're strong. They're physical. It's a big football team. Look at the wide receivers, Rod. One of the criticisms you can have of Cody is he's not the accurate guy. So what does Jeremy go out and do? What does Dickey go out and do? They go out and get all big receivers. Why? Because those big guys with those long arms, 6'3", 6'4" guys like Duke and Shaq, they have great catching range. So a guy who's maybe not the most accurate guy in the world, those guys will go up and get the ball. We saw it last week when Evans got the touchdown over Leonard down in the corner of the end zone. It was just a size mismatch.
Coach, guys, if we can just hang on a sec with the credits. Coach, we got to just talk about Coffee with the Coach, where people can follow you and what.
Go to Coffee with Coach on Twitter. It's on. It's all over the place. It's a podcast that we do just like you. We're trying to be just like you. Hopefully, we'll be back here next week talking more CFL football.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Take care.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
So, linebacker Simone Lawrence was among 3 players fined for a high hit on Saskatchewan quarterback Cody Fajardo. I don't think there's anybody on God's green earth that didn't think he was going to get fined. Dave Naylor, he tweeted that Simone had been fined, and Simone replied and said, "Oh, news to me. How much is it?" Should they notify the players before they send out the news release?
Maybe Simone's having fun with it. Maybe he's not. I'm not sure, but he'll pay the ticket.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is flying by. It's hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody. And thanks for joining us on this Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech, your industry leader in combustion services. Boy, Jeff Reinebold is a beauty. I've known him a real long time. He's such a great guy. And John Ohm, where's my bell? John Ohm, watching in Winnipeg, says, we need Jeff Reinebold on every Friday during football season. Make it happen, RP Show. I couldn't agree more. Ryan in Toronto watching on YouTube. It's always a great segment when Jeff Reinebold is on, and I think we give a very good preview to Week 2 in the CFL, and we're going to continue that as we bring the Moose back in from the heartbeat of the CFL, the Heartland, and also the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And I didn't realize, Moose, you see me sitting down here trying to stay highly hydrated, very warm. I see a heat wave coming to your part of the world this weekend. What's the deal?
Yeah, just for Saturday, it's going to get up into the mid-30s, so it's going to get really warm really, really quickly. It's already starting to turn a little bit. It's becoming quite a nice... You know the summers here are always really nice and pleasant, so I think it's coming.
Yeah, beauty. Arlen Bruce staying with us, AB3. I love it. Which, incidentally, Arlen, representing an establishment in Edmonton that would like us to come and do the RP Show live this summer. He came to me. I'm putting him on to the people that deal with that kind of thing. I'm just the connector in the world. But AB3 writes in and says, hey, Rod and Moose, if they want to drag their feet on getting a 10th team in Halifax, let's get a team in Banff. The Banff Mountaineers. Why not 3 teams in Alberta? Imagine more jobs and exposure. 10 teams. And Jeff, the Stamps fan, chimes in. Jeff Reinebold is great. I feel bad for heckling him at the 1995 Northern Final. Don't worry. Jeff's heard it all. He's good. But back to the Halifax thing, I got to be honest. We have our contacts, Moose, that are talking about an indoor football league in the prairies in Canada. And we got the Schooners thing. And I know those people. I see them watching my story. They're around. I see that they're watching my social media stories on Instagram and Facebook. But there's no team. There's no indoor league. And I don't know what it is. People seem to want to just sit around. And since we're on Facebook, I'll say it, not television, and yank their dick and talk about things that aren't happening. How long are we going to talk about stuff that's not happening? I am over the Schooners deal until they have a news conference to say, we have a team, we're going to start playing next year. Here's our GM, here's our coach. And when the league has a news conference and says, here's the date of the expansion draft, talk about the Banff Mountaineers. I'm sorry, but I'm very passionate about this. I'm tired. As the players have said to me, remember the great Nate Davis? Remember Nate? I'm tired of people pissing on my head and saying it's raining. I'm over it. And if people want to sit and talk about the Schooners, talk about it somewhere else. Like, my God, are you not tired of it?
Yes. I mean, if you want it to happen, you got to continue to push for it and talk about it. I get it. Like, and I always say, if you believe in something enough, then there is no expiration date on the patience you need to wait for it to happen, right? But when it comes to, getting excited about it and from a media standpoint and everything else, they've told us it's coming and it hasn't. And they've told us it's coming and it hasn't. And they told us it's coming and it hasn't. And so it just becomes, we don't want to waste our time with it because it's probably not coming anytime soon.
I can't, I'm not exaggerating when I say it comes up every single day in my life. Whether it's on this show or I see it in the media, I see it on social media, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Sorry if you hear the buzzer, my laundry's done. Like, get with it. As my dad said, some people are talkers and some people are doers. And to be honest with you, I think when you get a talker and a doer, then you really got something. The world needs both.
That's the secret.
But without each, Tank and Estevan writes in, says that schooner ship has sailed, Roddy. Well, I think it has. I mean, can we at least get real about it? I was telling a story today. I had coffee with Brian Dodge, and I apologize to those that I wasn't in my usual 12-step meeting today because it was my last day here, and me and Mayor Dodge wanted to go for coffee. But we were talking about Coyotes stories in Arizona, and those are the same guys, right, that own the Arizona Coyotes that want to have the Schooners team. Well, one of them bailed. Anthony LeBlanc literally jumped ship. And he's now with the Ottawa Senators. Like, yeah. Does the public know this? Do they need to know? Why are we talking about it? Wayne in BC says, it would be great to have a 10th team in the CFL. I agree with you, Rod. Time to show up or shut up about it. I am going to move on because it's wasting everybody's time. But I have told you this many times. He's not even a big shot falutin business guy. He thinks that he is. His boss is. So he's like, Rod, we're going to do this and this and this. And I said, you know what? Why don't you and him and me get in a freaking boat and sail around the world together? How about that? Because there's about just as much chance of that happening as what you're doing right now, blowing sunshine up my ass. So shove it. Never heard from him again, interestingly enough, but I don't miss him. So anyways, I'm like, can we get real about this stuff? Like, what are we doing here? So anyways, our poll question, Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. Woo-sa. Woo-sa. What is the biggest storyline in week 2 in the Canadian Football League season? Number 1, the Gary Stern guarantee. The Alouettes owner who said they're going to go in and kill the Argos. Didn't happen. Number 2, the Hall of Fame game in Hamilton between the Ticats and Stamps. Or number 3, Jones versus Fajardo Saturday night or other. And by the way, running away with it as Moose predicted, it's Jones versus Fajardo on Saturday night. And Darren, I want to talk about that Hall of Fame game for a second, but I promised earlier a bit of a hockey update that I never got to. Maisie texted me this morning and said, what do you know about Trotzy? What do you know about Trotzy turning down $7 million a year from Winnipeg? And by the way, I can't take credit for it. It was Serena that said maybe he just doesn't want to go to Philly. It's not about the money. It was, I guess, somebody reported that Trotzy turned down $7 million a year to go to Philly. And I think this Jets Trotz thing's happening. I told you the other day that if I asked his agent, who's a close friend of mine, he would tell me to go piss up a rope. But I asked him anyways, and he hasn't responded to me, which is basically telling me to go piss up a rope, which I deserve. I don't even like being nosy, but all of Canada's talking about it. So what is your take on Trotzy, if it's true, turning down $7 million a year in Philly?
Yeah, he wants to go to the right situation. And if that, if he would, I'm sure, analyze all the rosters, all the management groups. That's what you do when you're going to go take on a new opportunity, right? You got to look at all the things that are happening. The city I'm going to live in, the arena I'm going to go to work in, the people I'm going to work for, the people I'm going to work with, and the players I'm going to coach. And you make the best decision. And, if he turned it down, then it probably wasn't the best decision for Trotz. So that leaves Winnipeg as, far and away the betting favorite now to land him. And I think that should be exciting for people in Winnipeg, but it's not done yet until we hear an announcement.
Yeah. Lou really dropped a stink bomb here the other day, Peter Labardius, and said, hey, there's a rumor out there that Trotz may want to take a year off or two. I mean, money is not a concern for him. I don't even know if that's true. I don't think, although Trotz was a captain of the Pats, I don't think I've ever met him. I've been around him, but I don't think I've ever had a talk with him. Basically, what I'm saying is we're not friends. We're not close friends. So I don't know what he's going to do. It looks like he's going to Winnipeg. He does have the pick of the litter. The one sense that I got a month or two ago from his agent is that Barry would have his pick of the litter of jobs. And I think that's true. But those jobs are filling up now. That's my point. So it's either he's going to Dallas or Winnipeg. I think those are the only two that are left open. And I think Winnipeg's a better team, although Dallas did make the playoffs this year in the Western Conference. So Trotzy's going to be just fine. Back to the viewers here. Still plenty of time left in this segment. From BW, watching in Edmonton, says Arlen Bruce, put a CFL team in lesser Slave Lake. Call them the Slave Lake Moose. Says then have them playing in half Fort McMurray, half Grand Prairie. I don't know. It's Northern Alberta humor. I don't understand it. From Nelson, our VP of Sim Events. He says, I know national TV pays the bills, but an RP After Dark segment with these rants would be great content. I can tell you this. I've never heard one word from Game Plus about anything that I've said crossed. Not a thing. Nothing. Zero. Now, you're a bit of a buffer zone. You're the buffer. It's not like I'm in these meetings. But if they ever said, right, we need Rod to tone it down, which incidentally, it's 1:11 Eastern. So for those that pay attention to those kind of things, it's time to heal.
Yeah.
But we're definitely on the right track. I've never heard anything from Game Plus about anything I've ever said, which incidentally, I never heard anything from Jim Hobson either, by the way, the president of the Rough Riders, about anything that I said, because I get asked about it all the time. And I say, what would Hoppy have to be mad about? The stadium was full every game and we were in the Grey Cup every year. What would he possibly be mad about? So, yeah. Where was I? Where are you? You wanted to say something about Trotzy or where? Game Plus. Have they ever said anything to you about me?
No, they haven't. And I wonder. I sit there and be like, okay, they're just. You guys keep crushing the ratings, we'll be okay. If you guys keep crushing the ratings, they won't have any problems.
And that was the Hobson
thing. That's the sense
thing.
I get. Yeah.
That was the Hoppy thing. You just do this until we have a major catastrophe, and we'll be fine. Hoppy leaves, and I'm called on the carpet like twice a week. What? And as I said to a guy this morning, It's very hard to move on with your life when these things come up every day. But in South Florida, it's a lot easier. It doesn't come up as much. Andrew Stout watching in the chat says, it makes sense to me when you're looking for a new job, you look into the company culture, their missions and values, so why not pick what team you feel is going in the direction you want to go in? I'm not always right, but I will be staying at a Holiday Inn Express tonight, so I'm no dummy. What I think's happening with the Winnipeg Jets, and the little bits and pieces that I've pulled together, is that they kind of have an agreement, but I don't think they have the terms ironed out yet on the Trotz deal. You and I have been around the Jets. They're a great outfit. They're basically family owned from good people, is the sense that we get. Barry Trotz, again, never met him here, nothing but great things. It seems like a real fit. So I think what I understand is they've been hot and heavy on negotiations all week. They're going to take the weekend to take a breath and then resume contract talks next week. But I think they have a deal, you know. Terry Livermore, watching on YouTube, says, don't ever tone it down, Rod. Listen, I ain't going to tone it down, not at this stage of the game. And I will say this, by the way, I was on the Hedge podcast with Andrew Walker. It's dropping, I think it's dropped right now. We did the interview yesterday. And I don't know if you saw his promo tweet of it, but he said, from the king of the CFL to a podcast trailblazer. Rod Pedersen joins us this week, and I'm like, I don't think that I was either of those. I would have never have said I was the king of the CFL. Certainly a lot of people would have argued that. And I just don't feel like I'm a trailblazer in the podcast industry. But I guess if I thought that I was and I was out telling people that would probably be a bigger problem.
Bob's your uncle. Who is it?
John in Winnipeg says, you need a sponsor on that cup, Rod. Oh, I think I have it. Checkers. You would love Checkers, Moose. There's so many things. Wayne in Victoria says, I have zero problem with anything that Rod says on this show or anywhere else. Well, it's a good thing we have you, Wayne. Moose, I know that I make this place look like a dreamland because it is. Where's the first thing you'd like to go when you come to South Florida? You tell me.
Brooklyn Water Bagel. That's number one.
Come on!
That's where we'll go for coffee. That's the most notable. It's just, you know, it's going to disappoint me. It is, because you've built it up, or just when you say it, it makes me think of this. Like I'm picturing like this New York style, like combining the downtown New York high-rise suit style with the beach, and so I'm picturing very like casual, good conversation, but a little bit upscale. It's probably not.
No way.
Anyways,
it's in no way
just a
upscale. But I was there this morning. So chatting with Scott, the manager. Sabrina's off, but it's been great. And Brooklyn Water Bagel, greatest chocolate chip muffins I've ever had in my life, and free refills on the coffee. At Brooklyn Water Bagel. You want to know why we go there all the time?
And the show doesn't start till noon down there.
I thought maybe you'd want to go to the Florida Keys, maybe, or South Beach and go see Bob. But no, he wants to go to a coffee shop. Nelson says, you got some extra chutzpah when you know you're not on Game Plus TV. I feel like if I said all these same things on Game Plus TV, they would have no problem with it. As a matter of fact, they'd probably encourage it. But anyways,
I think so.
When we come back, we'll delve back into the football stuff when we come back on this Football Friday. It just popped into my mind. Remember when Rich Sutter was in the bunker? Memorial Cup, when it was in Regina. Was it Memorial Cup? Whenever Richie was in. Maybe it was when he was there to watch hockey in the bubble. But he was in the bunker, and he stood up in a break like this, and he goes, this is the greatest thing. Okay, so you can say whatever the hell you want. You should say more of whatever you want. And I'm, Rich, how could I? How could I say more of what I want? It's the dream scenario right now. Anyways, we'll be back. You are watching the RP Show on YouTube Live only today, and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Final day in South Florida for a while. Thanks for joining us on this Football Friday. Before we bring the Moose back in, a sports update on this Friday. Second round action at the U.S. Open is underway in Brookline, Massachusetts. Adam Hadwin of Abbotsford, BC, was the leader after the first round of the golf major after shooting a 4-under 66. The Ottawa Redblacks host the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tonight in Week 2 of the CFL season. It's a rematch of last week's showdown in the Manitoba capital, which the Bombers won 1917. The Toronto Blue Jays start a 3-game series with the Major League leading New York Yankees tonight at Rogers Centre. The Yankees have won 14 of their last 15 games. They lead second-place Toronto by 10 in the American League East standings. Jays and Orioles split 4 at Rogers Centre this week. And practice sessions go today at the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Formula One is back in Quebec for the first time in 3 years due to COVID-19 restrictions. Max Verstappen enters the race as the F1 points leader, and I feel like he is the Connor McDavid of Formula One. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. If we can bring the Moose in now, thank you, Moose, for being patient. I somewhere had last night's CEBL results. I don't know where I put them. It's like that old joke. I finally got my shit together, and I forgot where I put it.
Oh, no.
I know Newfoundland lost the expansion team, and they're like 0-7, but that's what expansion teams do. So that's not a big deal. But tonight, it's the Edmonton Stingers at the Saskatchewan Rattlers, and we should talk about that because half of our staff, or at least a good portion of our staff, is working the game. Interesting one tonight, Rattlers Stingers.
That'd be fun. You know, Stingers are a good team. I mean, obviously they've won, and so that'll be fun. In Saskatchewan too, they had a great atmosphere earlier in the week on Wednesday night. See if they can get a good crowd again tonight.
By the way, it's interesting. I know that you won't be there tonight, but you'd popped in there the other night, and isn't it nice to be able to just drop in like little sprinkles of Jesus, like Fajardo says, just drop in on these games, stay for as long as we want and leave. You know, it's, you know, back on that Hamilton, CFL rant from earlier, the Halifax rant. Jeff, the Stamps fan, asked the other day, or I think it was just yesterday, if I would ever consider a return to the CFL. And obviously he meant in a full-time role, because we're working in the CFL now with the coverage that we do. And it's perfect. I've had CFL people say, your show is a tremendous asset to the Canadian Football League. And we know that. We all know that. And smart people in the CFL know that. And when I left the Rough Riders, I was hard after that Schooners thing. Maybe that's why it triggers me so much, because it's like, it's been 3.5 years. What WTF is kind of my point on that. But I didn't know how to live aside from the CFL. I'd lived that way for almost my whole adult life. Now I've learned to live another way, and I don't want to go back. There. From Don, our Navy friend, he says, great show today, guys. I'm in Ottawa and will be attending the game tonight. Cannot wait. TD Place is my second favorite stadium in the CFL. We know to which stadium he's referring as the first. That's Saskatchewan. But it's quite often said the best three atmospheres in the CFL are Sask, Winnipeg, and Ottawa. Just throw them in the air, and wherever they land, it's, you know. Is there a place in the CFL you haven't been, Moose, that you'd like to be?
Oh, yeah, lots. Never been to Hamilton. I've never really watched a game in the East. Haven't. So I haven't been out there to watch any games. So, I mean, you and I have been to the empty Montreal Stadium, but I've never been to watch a game in Montreal, at BMO, in Ottawa, or in Hamilton. So those would all be spots I'd want to go for sure.
We got to get on that. Let's get our travel partner on it.
And Montreal probably the top of the list.
Is that right, eh? Well, it's good. Make some noise. I have shivers. I believe it caused me trauma calling games in there with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, because they used to wail the tar out of us. You know, it's like that old hockey joke. When the bus pulled up to the stadium, they turned the engine off and the bus was still shaking. You know, going into Montreal, it wasn't if you were going to lose, it was by how bad. That was Anthony Calvillo, Scott Flory, S.J. Green and company, maybe a little before that. But for sure, Calvillo. Dougal Cameron brought up something that I would like to discuss here. Two things. One, Dougal texts in on the 902 line, and he says, I remember phoning into a talk show as a 10-year-old in the 60s, asking why there isn't a CFL team in the Maritimes. Still waiting. I'm 64. That from Duke. I often go back to the 80s, right? I'm like, we've been waiting 35 years. This dude is saying he's been waiting 60 years. Okay, like an uncle. It's the biggest joke. But enough of that. We've talked about it. I was thinking about this because I was listening to Dan Patrick, as I told you. And by the way, today's daily sports radio update from South Florida, you know what they were talking about there? The NFL, Jim. Today. The NFL. It's June.
Yeah.
But Dan Patrick's taking call. Let's go to Darren in Arizona. He's like, hey, Dan, 6'2", 200. Ding. I'm like, I missed that. I forgot.
I know, I do too.
You people want to hit the bell back there? It's Rod in Florida, 6'3", 205. They've fallen asleep in the control room. Yeah, hello, you people. Hello, anybody? Are we just talking to ourselves here? Thank you.
There it is.
How about that?
Moose, should. This morning, Chris from South Florida asked if you, Moose, were the guy voicing. How about that? He asked if that was you.
How about that? It's not.
Your voice is deep.
I could do it.
Not that deep.
I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking, Dan Patrick is taking phone calls all these years later. Do you think we should open up the phone lines?
I've always thought it'd be a tremendous idea. I think it'd be cool.
No.
I think it'd be super cool.
The boys in the back are awake now, and they agree with me. I think the reason I was so dead set, and you understand, when I came out of my last job, I was literally in a state of trauma and PTSD. That's a fact. Yeah. Go look up the therapist notes. That's a fact. Traumatized from my last job. But, so when you said the idea of taking phone calls, what did I say, Moose? Tell the world.
I don't remember the words, so you're going to have to pull it up. But basically, the word, it wasn't even out of my mouth, and it was absolutely not. Not happening.
NFW. NFW. No effing way. But you want to do it now?
Well, we could. I mean, it's always an option for sure. We know, that the phone lines would light up. I mean, your old show, they lit up. I think they'd light up here a lot more. So there would be that. But the only issue I have is I don't know where we'd fit them in, where we'd fit the phone calls into the show. You know, we never have enough time to talk about what we need to as it is.
Leave that to me. I'll figure that one out. Jeff in Winnipeg writes in, he says, they're screaming in the earpiece, for the love of God, no!
Bingo!
No calls. They're laughing in my ear here. Terry Livermore on YouTube says, ditto, gents, good prairie boys. I assume he's referring to us, Moose. From Andrew Stout, he says, faire de bruit, make some noise. That's French for make some noise. Faire de bruit. I think these people that are new, that are watching our show from across the country, would have really enjoyed my last show, because I remember I didn't even know you. And you said that you used to listen to that radio show on CKRM, the one which I named the Sports Cage, which was named after a chain of sports bars in Quebec called the Cajot Sport, where I used to get snookered from time to time. And I would take these calls, but I remember I would lose it. It was a lot like Howard Stern, but I didn't know it at the time because I wasn't listening to Howard Stern. But I'm like, 5 people? 5 GD people is all it's going to get 100,000 people listening, but only 5 people want to call in and talk about this football team? Because it was always the same people. Leanne, Eldon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jim.
Absolutely.
GT Smith watching on YouTube. Maybe take calls for twice a week, like on Monday and Friday. What would we talk about? I mean, listen, that's another thing. When I came out of that last job, I only knew one team and one sport, the CFL. I was afraid to take calls in this show. What if they asked me about the NHL? What if they asked me about Golden State and Boston? I don't care now. But that was a big reason why I didn't want to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, for sure. No, I didn't, but it makes a lot of sense. You know, when you're so ensconced in one team and you don't know that they're going to want to call in and talk about something else and you have no idea what happened in whatever they want to talk about, right? That could easily happen.
It's probably the biggest reason why I don't want to take calls or didn't want to take calls was that. But now nothing scares me. I think we could do it. William May in Lloydminster says, 3-hour show. And I say, you want to pay me for 3 hours, then I'll do 3 hours. Until then, zip it. Wayne in Victoria says, I love the way the texting in is working. But it was fun phoning into your old radio show, Rod. Yeah, because I lose my mind. Ryan in New York, he says, La Cajo Sport, I hear their wings are straight fire, as the kids say. I thought that was just a South Florida thing, but maybe not. From the Tank in Estevan, boy, we're rolling now, Moose. From the Tank Abbott says, don't fix or add to the show if it ain't broke. What if we did a 3rd hour on Just Call? How about that?
That would be cool.
I feel like we need to break. I can't sit and read the same comments from the same guys, but the thing is, when they're so funny, I got it. One more from John Ohm. He says, the ship of the expansion schooners, it slid off my thing, has sailed. The schooner ship has sailed, kind of like the Titanic. It's left the dock. Moose, we'll see you in overtime, okay? Yeah, it's
see you then.
Blah, 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 blah. We're going to talk about the Argos' big win when we come back in week 2. You're watching a Football Friday on YouTube Live and 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is a Football Friday. We're talking CFL today, and Week 2 opened last night. McLeod Bethel Thompson hit newcomer Brandon Banks with a second-half touchdown as the Argos held on for a season-opening 2019 victory over Montreal to BMO. But the big story, of course, was Montreal had a chance to win it, but kicker David Cote missed a 21-yard field goal with 11 seconds to go that went for a single. Argos win on what looked like a very fun night. I watched it on ESPN2 and checked in with a portion of it online as well with Mike Hogan, the radio voice of the Argos, who joins us. The 1-0 Toronto Argos. Hoagie, is it a disservice to say the Argos lost the game on a missed field goal? Is that disrespectful to the Argos?
You can frame it any way you want. I mean, that's fine. Did the Argos dodge a major bullet? Oh, yeah. There's no question about that. It seems to be something in the air there. That's the third time in the last 2 years, and we're only one game into that second year, that the Argos have basically escaped because the Ticats a year ago hit the upright on an extra point that gave the Argos a win, and then BC missed, I think, 3 in the last quarter, including having one blocked that gave the Argos another one against BC, so or at least sent them to overtime where they won the game. But yeah, you could frame it like that if you want. Both teams will come into that and look at video and go, there's a lot to clean up here, and the Argos would rather win ugly than lose pretty, put it that way.
Well, we can address this later if we have time, because there are viewers that have written in and said the Argos are fluky, and I'm like, I'm not a believer in luck. I say the harder you work, the luckier you get, and I think that's kind of the Dinwiddie thing. But overall, it just looked like a real fun night at BMO last night. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, the fans were loud from the get-go. You know, it's been the constant complaint about Toronto, and I certainly don't want to go there. But while we need to increase the size of our fan base, the fans we have are awesome. They're really loud, and that building with the overhang holds the noise exceptionally well. So they were there to party. I mean, it's been a long off season. Everybody waits for that home opener, and Argo fans went out last night. It was really humid, but really nice to sit with a little breeze off the lake. Sit back, have a cold beverage, and enjoy a football game that had a lot of big plays, just could have used some more, went right down to the wire, and I guess that's what you want. Home team wins a close game. Woohoo!
Yeah, well, I think overall, like I say, it was just entertaining, and that's what we want, I think, as CFL backers. I mean, hey, you had a couple player ejections. How did you feel about that little sequence as it was unfolding in front of you?
I didn't see it live. The play happened. It was over. And I turned to my, you'll know this as a play-by-play guy, you keep a lot of info taped up on the wall next to you. And I had turned over to look for a number. And Natalia J, my color commentator, went, "Whoa!" And I'm going, okay, what did I just miss? Okay, what did I miss? And he said, he just stopped on him. There's going to be an ejection. I saw the replay, didn't really get a great angle of it. But yeah, the Alouette players stomped on our offensive lineman, and Dejean looked like he tried to twist his knee on the way out, and both got the hoof for that. I don't know if there'll be fines involved as well, but, you know, boys will be boys. As I said on the broadcast, it looks like an Argo Ticat game has broken out.
Yeah, well, hey, by the way, I'm here for the Montreal-Toronto rivalry, too, if there is one in any sport, tiddlywinks, NHL, CFL, whatever, CEBL. But how much talk was there of Gary Stern's guarantee, I'm calling it, the Alouettes owner saying they're going to kill the Argos? Didn't work. What did you think about it? What did you hear?
I was good. I think it's great. I'll be honest. The more people we have talking about the league and becoming personalities in the league, I think is great. The fact that he put himself out there, knowing full well that if they lost, and they did, our social media team was going to have some fun with it, and they did. But it's great. He's confident in his team. He said something. You're a big fan of Chris Jones. A lot of people hate Chris Jones. I love Chris Jones. I think he's great for the league because if you watch, I've used this analogy before, I'll use it again. If you watch a good movie where there's a good guy and a bad guy, if it's a good bad guy in terms of he's captivating, you really like to not like him, the movie's better. And if there are people out there who hate Jones, that's great because it adds an element to your team playing his team. Here in Toronto, Simone Lawrence paints himself as a pretty good villain. He did that for Rider fans last week with a hit on Fajardo. It adds to the game. I'd love to see more personalities, more people that fans can relate to. And if that means it's going to be the owner in Montreal's case, so be it. They've got some great players. I know hockey, for me, when I was doing the talk show circuit for a quarter century, became increasingly boring because the players never said anything, ever. It was like they sucked the personality out. We've got great personalities willing to tell their stories. Bring it on. That's one thing I'm endeavoring to do this year, and we are at Argonauts.ca with the social team. But I think the more personality in the league, the better. And if the owner wants to say what he did, let him. But in terms of in the locker room, nobody even knew about it. To be honest, I'll be honest with that. After it happened, we had a media availability, and I knew that would come up. So I asked two of our players who were being interviewed, "Did you hear the comments?" And they went, "No, what did he say?" So honestly, they really didn't know the comments the day after.
I believe it, but just with Jones, I asked him. He said when he coached the Argos, and you would have been doing the radio, I think. He goes, "I lived on a boat." I said, "You lived on a boat? Where'd you get your mail?" And he looked at me crazy. "I didn't have mail. Went to Tennessee." I think most people that know Jones like him, and if they don't like him, they at least get a kick out of him, right? Obviously you know him pretty well.
I like Jones because he can turn the word boat into a 9-syllable word.
How about that?
Oh, man, Hoagie, you're bringing it. Paul Jefferson watching on YouTube says, any news on why Andrew Harris left the game? Injury? Cramps?
He tightened up a little bit. He had been nursing, I think it was a hamstring during training camp, so they took the foot off the accelerator with him. And he put the foot on the accelerator for the first 3 quarters last night. He flirted with 100 yards on the ground. He had another 25 or so in the air. Looked great, and he felt a little bit of tightness. And when you saw his effectiveness last night, the decision was made for him. No, if there's a little bit of tightness, we want this to be a 1-quarter injury, not a 6-week injury. So let's be safe. It's week 1. He came out. Boy, did he look like Andrew Harris last night, though. He was dynamic, a hurdle. I think it was 87 yards unofficially. With the 4th quarter lead, he most certainly would have hit 100 yards last night in his Argo debut. Just watching him in camp, there's no doubt he's got a chip on his shoulder, wants to be great this year. And physically, aside from that little tweak, he showed like he's Andrew Harris, circa, 10 years ago as opposed to this year. So I think he's going to be fine. But, yeah, it was precautionary. Coach Dinwiddie talked about it after the game. I didn't see Andrew after the game, but, I'm sure he'll be fine. Oh, I hope he's fine for BC, but he'll certainly be fine for Winnipeg. Oh, how's that 2 weeks from now?
Brandon Banks and the Argos are 1-0. The Ticats are 0-1. What has Speedy B brought to your team? I assume you've spent some time chatting with him. We saw on the field he brings a lot. Is he the same Speedy B that we know?
Yeah, and you know what? I'll admit this, and I've done so a couple of times. I've been wrong on him. When they signed him, I went, really? Like, we saw him last year, and he didn't look like Speedy B. And when you're a receiver, or an athlete in any sport, and your best attribute, if you're a guy who has a 102-mile-an-hour fastball and all of a sudden it's 97, that can be a major difference. But this year he looks like Speedy B again. I was dead wrong. Like he's the thing that Ryan Dinwiddie talked about was, not having worked with him before. He was amazed at how quickly he picked up the playbook. He said he's like the first guy who knew everything, and as a new guy, he was amazed. He said, okay, that's good. And, he's getting open. He was really developing some chemistry with McLeod, but last night he was playing X, and he never played that before. Like, he was playing the wide receiver to the short side, to the boundary side from a standing start. and something he hadn't done before, but because of injuries, he ended up there. And last night had a touchdown. I mean, he looked great. And I think he's going to be a really solid addition. And I hope I'm even more wrong about him than I was, because he looks just like Speedy B from a couple of years ago.
Well, congrats on the start, Hoagie. Again, it looked like a very fun night. Hopefully it draws more people down there. For the next one, what is next for the Argos?
Yeah, we're in BC next Saturday. So, we're hoping they don't hang 58 or 59 or whatever they had. I think all Canadians love to see the start that Nathan Rourke had, but we're just hoping he takes a little bit of a regression next week. But with that atmosphere, I can't wait to get out there, because I hope BC football is back in BC, because the people who have been working at the grassroots level are beyond thrilled that BC football was back big time for at least one night, and hopefully for good.
Well, they are off to a tremendous start. Hoagie, thanks for the time as always. Keep in touch, brother, and good luck the rest of the way.
Anytime, my friend. You know that.
The voice of the Toronto Argonauts, Mike Hogan. People talk about me being a podcast trailblazer. He was a sports talk trailblazer in this country. Fan 590, that's where I first really fell in love with his style. We'll be back. One final segment for the week. It's a Taco Time viewer takeover right after this. You're watching on YouTube only today, normally on Game Plus TV, and also 24 hours sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to The Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Calgary, Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders!
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you could be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, here we are, everybody. It looks like it might just be you and me. I'm not sure the Moose knew that we were looking for him back for the rest of the show, but that's okay. I'm going to read from my email. Oh, we got him now. From my email inbox here in this viewer takeover. The Saskatchewan Rattlers, that's why I'm wearing their shirt, look to get back to 500 when they host the Edmonton Stingers, who want to get back on the right track. Friday night, that's tonight, 7:30 p.m. Central, but it's actually Mountain, I believe, unless it's 6:30 Mountain. Rattlers 3-4, the Stingers 4-3. You can watch the game on CEBL Plus or the CBC Gem app. And I have an email, if we can bring the Moose in here, from the Florida Panthers. They announced today that FLA Live Arena will host Saturday Sweat Juneteenth week celebration on Saturday, June 25th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The event is free and open to the public. You're wondering, Moose, what that is. Saturday Sweat is a culturally relevant wellness experience focused on encouraging healthy lifestyles with a particular emphasis on creating minority inclusion, accessibility, and representation in the fitness space. Oh, here we go, Moose. It's the fitness capital down here, by the way. It's the fishing capital. It's the golf capital. It's the fitness capital. The capital of everything. You're going to have to get in shape when you come down here, by the way. So when we got to go to Brooklyn Water Bagel, you're going to have to get in shape, by the way, and you're going to have to take your shirt off walking in there. Are you okay with that?
All right. I'll work on it. Give me, I'll get to work.
It's hilarious. I was talking to Zani about it. And he's like, he goes, I don't need South Florida. He goes, everybody's shiny down there, walking around looking shiny because everybody's got a sweat on. And he played for the Marlins. Think about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, to more Taco Time viewer takeover, by the way. Taco Time, what do we need to tell you about Taco Time other than it's the greatest? How soon before we go to Taco Time, Moose? What day you want to go when I get back there?
Yeah, probably
like
the second you get back. Yeah.
Taco Time, real food, real value, real flavor. And by the way, they're not tater tots, they're Mexi fries. And that's what the ad agency wants me to read. So I'm not going to fiddle with it because we've had some companies upset when I fiddle with their lines. But I just feel like I've never seen a tater tot and a Mexi fry in the same room before. I'm not sold that it's not the same thing. But Brady, you remember Brady? He writes that and says, what an entertaining Game 6 last night. He's talking about the NBA Finals. Where would the Splash Brothers be without a pool? Clay, Steph, Draymond, and Iggy now have 4 championships. And Curry's one more championship away from surpassing LeBron James. He says, I got the Lightning winning tomorrow. They will bounce back. Rough Riders also win big tomorrow. That from Brady. The floor is yours, Moose, in the 2 minutes we have left. Of all the sports going into this weekend, what's on your mind the most?
You know what? Thanks, Brady, because it's basketball. And, that's what I did last night. I watched the basketball game. That was my viewing choice, was to watch Game 6. I wouldn't watch it throughout the playoffs, but I'm a big Steph Curry fan. I actually just finished a documentary of his, and I knew that there was a chance the trophy could get handed out, so I wanted to watch last night, and he put on a show. He finally won Finals MVP, which was the one thing missing from his resume.
Wow.
He was, and when he did it, the last minute, I mean, he couldn't help but get emotional, and the tears were starting to flow, and it was a really cool moment. They were down early. They rolled in the middle, so big night for Steph Curry, and there's no questioning his legacy now.
Well, how about that? I did not expect you to come out with that. Well, the NBA Game 6 didn't tip off until 9 p.m. Eastern. I mean, shoot, I was sitting there, You know, us Golden Girls go to bed real early out here on the East Coast. So I was like, can we hurry up, CFL? Can we hurry up? Just to get to 7:30 Eastern, dude. And even as it was, I turned in and didn't see the end of that football game. John in Edmonton says, Victor Quee isn't happy. That's the president of the Edmonton Elks. With Ryan Rashog of TSN on Twitter for a post about Dwayne Mendrusiak. Bringing him back should have stopped. Victor said on Twitter that's 100% false and a misleading post. Oh, boy. Okay, we like the president's last minute of play in hour one. We want the presidents to be visible and have personality, calling out the media. Do we want that?
I don't know if we want that exactly, but he's trying to protect the brand. I love that we're just going to drop this one just before the weekend, so it's perfect.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if we talk about the owners and the presidents too much, but the thing is, they're the ones in charge. And people enjoy what we're doing. From BW, he says, great week of shows. Looking forward to shows from the Stampede City. Could Rod be seen in a chuck wagon? Stay tuned. Yeah, we got to go. See you Monday, everybody. Oh, no, we got 15 minutes. Hang on. Jeff in Winnipeg, thank you for being a friend. He's written in, traveling down the road and back again. Okay, Moose. Have a great weekend.
See you guys.
Angering people is a gift of mine.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Awesome. Sold. Done deal. That's hot. Hot damn.